Imagine a country that promised freedom, but didn't give it to everyone. A place where your skin color could decide whether you went to school, got a job, or even sat on a bus. This was America for millions of African Americans. But from the ashes of injustice rose one of the most powerful movements in history, the Civil Rights Movement. The story begins in 1863 with the Emancipation Proclamation. President Abraham Lincoln declared that enslaved people were free. For many, this was a dream come true. But freedom on paper didn't mean freedom in life. During the Reconstruction era from 1865 to 1877, the United States passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, abolishing slavery, granting citizenship, and giving African American men the right to vote. Yet, even with these promises, discrimination found new ways to survive. By 1896, the Supreme Court decision, Plessy versus Ferguson, cemented the idea of separate but equal. Black and white Americans were divided in schools, buses, restaurants, and neighborhoods. But the truth was, things were never equal. It would take nearly 60 years for the movement to rise again. In 1954, the case of Brown versus Board of Education struck down segregation in schools. Children could no longer be divided by race in classrooms. It was a victory, but change was painfully slow. Then, in 1955, one woman sparked a fire. Rosa Parks, tired after a long day, refused to give up her bus seat to a white passenger in Montgomery, Alabama. Her arrest led to the Montgomery bus boycott. For over a year, African Americans refused to ride city buses. This peaceful protest showed unity, and it introduced the world to a young pastor, Martin Luther King Jr. In 1957, King and others formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or SCLC. Their mission was simple but powerful: fight injustice through nonviolence. That same year, 9 brave African American students, the Little Rock Nine, walked into Central High School in Arkansas. Despite mobs and threats, they proved courage could open doors to equality. The early 1960s brought even more determination. In 1960, students launched the sit-in movement. At whites-only lunch counters, they quietly demanded service, refusing to leave until justice was served. Their bravery spread across the country. The next year, young activists became freedom riders, boarding buses to challenge segregation in interstate travel. Many were beaten and jailed, but their sacrifices forced the nation to pay attention. In 1963, the spotlight turned to Birmingham, Alabama. Peaceful protesters, including children, were attacked with police dogs and fire hoses. Images of the brutality shocked the world and showed America's deep racial wounds. Later that same year, the movement reached its most iconic moment, the March on Washington. More than 250,000 people gathered in the Capitol. Standing before the Lincoln Memorial, Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. His words painted a vision of unity and justice that still echoes today. The courage of ordinary people finally moved lawmakers to act. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed. It outlawed discrimination in public places and workplaces. For the first time, equality had legal protection. A year later, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 struck down barriers like literacy tests and poll taxes that had kept African Americans from voting. Democracy was finally opening its doors to everyone.
But the struggle came with heartbreak. In 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. His death was a crushing blow, but his dream did not die. The movement he helped lead had already transformed America forever. The Civil Rights Movement showed the world that change is possible when people stand together. It was built not just by famous leaders, but by thousands of ordinary men,